Hi everyone, Nikolai here. In this video, we're going to explain why a system based primarily on land value taxes will have more winners and fewer losers than any other tax system. And we will show that a single tax system will in fact make people and countries wealthier. Now, what do I mean with winners and losers? If you are new to land value taxes, you have probably just started to hear about some of the benefits that come along with this tax. You may have read how tenants will not be affected by land value taxes, how the tax will not have a negative impact on farmers, or how the average homeowner won't have to worry either. And at some point in time, you probably start to wonder, who will lose under such a tax system? Well, obviously, land speculators and foreign real estate investors will lose under such a system. But it still sounds too good to be true that everyone would be winning besides the land speculators, right? Intuitively, it makes a lot of sense to be skeptical, because if someone is coming out profitable, shouldn't another person then come out at a deficit? Well, this is the way that tax systems usually work. For example, politicians might decide to increase income taxes in order to fund elder care, which means that workers lose in order to make the elderly win. Or they want to improve the local schools. However, this requires money, and therefore politicians decide to raise taxes on investments, which means that investors lose in order for schools to win. What governments do is essentially that they collect taxes and then distribute the money across society. Most politics can be seen as a way to transfer money from one group of people to another group. It basically tends towards a zero-sum game, where the only way that someone can win is if another person loses. However, it does not necessarily have to be this way. There are in fact a few scenarios where we can create wealth without having to take it from someone else. Yes, you heard me right. If we make the correct changes to our tax system, we can actually make everyone come out at an advantage. Okay, so how is this possible? Well, the key to understanding all of this is the economic term called deadweight loss. If you already know about land value, you're probably familiar with the concept, but for those who do not know what a deadweight loss means, let me just give you a very quick explanation. The majority of taxes lead to something called a deadweight loss. A deadweight loss occurs when taxes rise to such a level that a trade that would otherwise have been positive for both the buyer and the seller is cancelled because the tax has made the trade too expensive. Some very basic examples of this is a farmer wanting to buy a tractor for his farm. He might be able to buy a tractor for the price of, say, $5,000. This price might be fine with the farmer. However, if taxes were raised on cars, tractors and other vehicles, then the price of the tractor might rise to $6,000 or to $7,000. And at some point in time, the farmer will no longer want to buy the tractor because it is too expensive. The tax on vehicles have essentially caused a trade that would have benefited the farmer to be lost, and this is what is called a deadweight loss. The point is that whenever we decide to add taxes to vehicles, income, corporations, or something else, then the taxes will usually make people and the economy suffer, because the taxes prevent buyers and sellers from making trades that would otherwise have benefited both parties. This means that many taxes cause a direct decrease in GDP per capita. So whenever the government chooses to enact distributional politics, the deadweight loss associated with the necessary tax will cause a monetary loss for the country. So back to the point I was making in the beginning of the video. The reason that land value taxes are superior to all other taxes is because land value taxes do not cause a deadweight loss. So why do land value taxes have no deadweight loss when other taxes do? The price of commodities increase when either supply goes down or demand goes up. In the case of land, the supply cannot go down because there is simply a fixed amount of land available in any city. This means that land value taxes cannot affect the supply of land and make the price go up. What about demand then? The demand for land also does not change. People still need a place to live, and businesses still need a place to run their operations. The tax makes it more expensive to hold land, but this is counteracted by the purchasing price of the land going down relationally. Therefore, we can assume that if a person was able to buy the land before land value taxes were implemented, they would also be able to afford the tax after land value taxes were implemented. If this description was too technical, then feel free to check out our video, The Simple Reason Land Value Taxes Do Not Cause Higher Rental Prices, where the explanation is a bit longer. So to answer the question that I raised in the beginning, are land value taxes too good to be true? Does it make any sense that both tenants, farmers, the average homeowner, etc. all come out profitable under such a tax system? Yes, it does, because when deadweight losses are removed, the GDP per capita increases. This means that by simply removing taxes with deadweight losses, we can make a country significantly richer without having to do any work. We're not really increasing the productivity of the country, we are merely removing something negative that is holding it back. Talk about picking the low-hanging fruit. In our current society, we are at this very moment seeing deadweight losses occurring in almost all industries, and it has to do with all the taxes that we have placed on goods, income, vehicles, etc. And the way that we can free up all this massive deadweight loss is by replacing the inefficient taxes with one efficient tax, and that tax is land value taxes. As a small side note, Henry George, who you are probably familiar with, actually wrote an entire book about the topics we just talked about. If you want to learn more, then I would encourage you to check out his book, Protection or Free Trade. Georgism has been growing in popularity lately, and we would love for you to join the movement. We suggest joining the subreddit on Georgism, and if you want to help us spread our videos on YouTube, then please like and subscribe so our videos can reach a larger audience. Thanks for watching.